Covert. Serpent's getting farther over 2 places at once. You gotta stop. I can't go. So you must have made up with. Take you out.
What he doesn't know, kill Captain. Here.
Just a little meaner.
Enough. You're a fast.
I haven't seen Ross like this.
The world watches as President Thaddeus Ross takes office, promising a new era of global stability and national strength. However, the shadows of the past stir as Samuel Stearns, known as the Leader, reemerges with a sinister plot to unleash a new form of gamma-powered control, manipulating global events from the hidden corners of the scientific community. Captain America, Sam Wilson, finds himself navigating complex political landscapes and facing terrifying new threats, grappling with the weight of the shield and the true meaning of heroism in a brave new world.
I'd all be ugly.
Joaquin, I'm going after.
Poison me. Stop fighting.
Putting an end to this now.
Altitude.
Unleash your hatred.
Self in. He claims
Like me.
Every.
This is. I need you to clear Haynes Point. Okay.
Hey guys, today we dive deep into the thrilling, often politically charged, and frankly quite explosive narrative of Captain America: Brave New World, a film that throws Sam Wilson, our new Cap, right into the deep end of global politics and super science shenanigans. It's a wild ride, and trust me, there's a lot to unpack here, from high-stakes espionage to some truly mind-bending gamma-fueled villainy. I put a lot of work into these, so if you like what you see, a like and a subscribe is always appreciated. No worries if not. The movie opens not with an explosion, which frankly felt a little out of character for an MCU film, but with the hushed gravitas of a presidential inauguration. The cameras flash, the crowds cheer, and there, on the grand steps of the Capitol, is none other than Thunderbolt Ross, now President Ross, a man who, let's be honest, has always had a complicated relationship with superpowered individuals and, frankly, nuance. Sam Wilson watches from a secure but discreet distance, the weight of the vibranium shield a familiar presence on his back. He's in plain clothes, just observing, trying to understand what this new political landscape means for his role as Captain America. The air crackles with the cheers of the crowd, a stark contrast to the quiet hum of his comms unit, which gives him updates on potential threats. He sees Ross's stern, resolute face, hears his booming voice promise a new, stronger America, and Sam can't help but feel a flicker of unease. It's one thing to fight aliens or rogue AI. It's another entirely to navigate the labyrinthine corridors of power, especially when the man at the top used to hunt your friends. The inauguration celebrations are short-lived, because of course they are. A diplomatic summit, spearheaded by President Ross in London, quickly devolves into chaos. Delegates from various nations gather, the clink of glasses and murmur of negotiations filling the opulent hall, when suddenly a strange high-pitched frequency pierces the air. It's not an explosion, not a physical attack, but something far more insidious. People start clutching their heads, their eyes glazing over, and a wave of confusion and aggression ripples through the room. One moment they're discussing trade agreements, the next they're screaming accusations, even physically lashing out at each other. Sam, who was providing external security with Joaquin Torres, now in his fully realized Falcon suit, immediately recognizes the pattern. This isn't random. He feels a slight thrumming in his own skull, a faint echo of the disrupting frequency, but his enhanced senses and mental fortitude shield him from its full effect. Joaquin, however, feels it more acutely, his hand instinctively going to his temple, a low groan escaping his lips. "What in the world is that?" he grits out, his helmet filtering some of the noise but not the unsettling feeling. Sam gives a sharp order. "Joaquin, get the president out. I'll try to find the source." He launches himself through a window, the sound of shattering glass a surprisingly delicate counterpoint to the growing pandemonium within. He activates his wings, a whoosh of air propelling him across the rooftops, his eyes scanning for any anomaly. The frequency, he deduces, isn't coming from within the building, it's a targeted external attack. His comms crackle with frantic calls from Secret Service agents, their voices laced with fear and confusion. He spots a small, almost imperceptible drone, barely larger than his palm, hovering near a distant clock tower. It emits a faint, pulsing blue light, the source of the disruption. Sam closes in, the wind whipping past his face, the metallic thunk of his wing locking into place as he prepares to strike. He takes it out with a precise throw of his shield, the vibranium disc slicing through the air with a satisfying whiz before impacting the drone with a decisive thwack, sending it spiraling into pieces. The frequency immediately cuts out, and the chaos within the summit slowly begins to subside, leaving a bewildered, bruised, and thoroughly embarrassed collection of world leaders. Back in Washington, the aftermath is a maelstrom of political finger-pointing and intelligence gathering. President Ross, his face a mask of barely contained fury, demands answers. His personal aide, an ambitious but seemingly loyal woman named Dr. Carla Sofin, hovers nearby, offering soothing words and technical analysis. Sam and Joaquin are debriefed, providing what little information they have. The drone was advanced, its signal untraceable, but it bore a subtle insignia, a stylized brain within a shattered flask. This looks like a calling card, Sam muses, tossing the broken drone pieces onto a sterile lab table with a soft clink. It doesn't take long for the intel community to connect the dots to Samuel Stearns, the brilliant but twisted scientist who briefly became the leader years ago, thanks to a healthy dose of gamma radiation. His reappearance sends a ripple of concern through the Avenger Initiative, or what's left of it. The memory of his grotesque, pulsating brain in Harlem, a truly unsettling image, still haunts those who remember. So, the guy who gave himself a giant headache is back, Joaquin quips, adjusting his visor with a sigh. Great, just what we needed, another mad scientist with a chip on his shoulder and a gamma-ray gun. Ross, however, has his own agenda. He announces the formation of a new global security initiative, the Enhanced Response Commission, or ERC. Its stated goal is to combat superpowered threats, but its underlying purpose, Sam suspects, is to exert more control over individuals like himself. Ross speaks with an almost fanatical fervor about order and stability, the cameras flashing as he stands behind a podium, a stern, unyielding figure. The crowd claps, but Sam can almost hear the subtle snap of new chains being forged. The new commission is given broad powers, raising red flags for Sam, who has seen firsthand how easily power can corrupt. He tries to voice his concerns directly to Ross, meeting him in a dimly lit, wood-paneled office that smells of old paper and new ambition. The conversation is tense, the air thick with unspoken history. Ross dismisses Sam's warnings with a dismissive wave of his hand, his eyes burning with conviction. Captain, I appreciate your patriotism, but the world has changed. We need swift, decisive action, not hand-wringing. The general's old gruffness is still there, just cloaked in a presidential suit. It's a classic move, the politician ignoring the seasoned field agent, which, let's be honest, never ends well. Sam and Joaquin track a lead to a discreet research facility in the remote mountains of Latvia, because apparently villains just love setting up shop in places with dramatic scenery. The facility is disguised as a geological survey outpost, but the subtle energy signatures radiating from within tell a different story. Gamma-rad signature spiking cap, Joaquin's voice crackles over the comms, a slight tremor in his tone. Looks like a full-blown lab in there, not just some rocks. They approach stealthily, their wings muted, gliding through the crisp mountain air. The facility is nestled deep within a jagged peak, its entrance a reinforced steel door blending seamlessly with the rock face. Sam lands silently on a ledge overlooking the main compound, the crunch of his boots on the sparse gravel barely audible. He uses his enhanced vision to scan the interior through reinforced windows, catching glimpses of scientists in hazmat suits working around glowing, pulsating equipment. This isn't a small operation, it's a full-scale, well-funded endeavor. Their infiltration is textbook. Sam busts through a vent, landing with a soft thud in a corridor, shield at the ready. Joaquin follows, swooping in through an opening and landing with a graceful plunk. They move like shadows, navigating the sterile, brightly lit corridors. The air hums with the low thrum of machinery, the faint scent of ozone clinging to the sterile environment. They encounter armed guards, not Hydra, not AIM, but a private security force, their uniforms sleek and black. The ensuing skirmish is quick and brutal. Sam's shield flies with devastating accuracy, a series of whacks and clangs as it deflects bullets and takes out enemies. Joaquin's new Falcon suit, upgraded with some serious Wakandan tech, allows him to zip around with incredible agility, his wingtips delivering concussive blows, his talons disabling weapons with precise snips. The guards, despite their numbers, are no match for the dynamic duo. Sam's movements are fluid, powerful, a testament to his years of training and his natural leadership. He disarms, he redirects, he incapacitates, always aiming to neutralize, not to kill. They finally reach the central lab, a vast cavern filled with a dizzying array of monitors, glowing conduits, and a large cylindrical chamber in the center that pulses with an unsettling green light. And there, at the control console, his impossibly large head covered by a containment helmet, is Samuel Stearns. He's thinner, paler than Sam remembers, but his eyes, magnified by the helmet, still hold that chilling glint of intellect and madness. Captain America, Stearns says, his voice a calm, unnerving monotone amplified through the helmet. Or should I say Falcon, a worthy successor, I suppose, but hardly as charismatic as your predecessor. He says it with a subtle sneer, the kind only a truly intelligent villain can The chamber opens, revealing not a gamma bomb, but a small, unassuming device, no bigger than a lunchbox. It emits a soft, hypnotic hum. Stearns explains his plan with chilling clarity. The device, a cerebral amplifier, can project a specific mental frequency across vast distances, subtly altering human perception and behavior. His previous attack was just a test, a gentle nudge. Now he intends to broadcast a continuous, subliminal message that will slowly, subtly coerce humanity into a state of docile compliance, making them utterly receptive to his guidance. It's mind control without the overt, dramatic brainwashing. It's more like a global, super subtle gaslighting campaign, which is frankly far more terrifying. Why conquer the world with force, Stearns declares, his eyes gleaming, when you can simply convince them to give it to you? He points out a network of satellites visible on a holographic display, all positioned to amplify his signal. This is less about brute strength and more about psychological warfare on a global scale, a truly insidious concept. Just as Sam prepares to engage Stearns, the facility doors burst open. Not reinforcements for Stearns, but agents of the ERC, led by General Donovan, a gruff, no-nonsense officer loyal to Ross. And with them, an unexpected, almost bewildering sight, a woman with fiery red hair and an Israeli flag emblazoned on her uniform, known as Sabra. She moves with a lean, coiled intensity, her eyes sharp, assessing. She's not here to help Sam. She's here to secure Stearns for her own government, viewing him as a national asset, a scientific prize. Captain America, Sabra says, her voice low and firm, stand down. Stearns is a matter of international security, not an Avengers playground. The tension in the room ratchets up significantly. Now it's a three-way standoff, Sam and Joaquin against Stearns, and everyone against the ERC and Sabra, who are also against each other, and all of them are probably against paperwork. It's like a really bad group project, but with lasers. Stearns, ever the opportunist, uses the distraction to his advantage. He activates a series of automated defenses, releasing several gamma-infused operatives, not quite abominations, but certainly not people you'd want to meet in a dark alley. They are fast, strong, and their skin has that faint, unhealthy green glow. The fighting erupts. Sam, Joaquin, Sabra, and the ERC agents are all forced to fight both Stearns' minions and each other, occasionally mistaking an ally for an enemy in the confusion. The clash of vibranium on enhanced flesh, the zap of energy weapons, the whoosh of Sabra's specialized sonic blasts all blend into a symphony of chaos. Sabra, in particular, is a force to be reckoned with. Her movements are incredibly precise, almost dance-like, as she weaves through the chaos, dispatching gamma goons with brutal efficiency. Her costume, of vibrant blue and white, stands out against the sterile lab. She can project powerful energy blasts from her wrists, and her speed is astonishing. During the melee, Stearns makes his escape. He unleashes a concussive blast from a wrist-mounted device, a surprising move from the intellectual villain, proving he's learned a few tricks. The boom echoes through the lab, knocking everyone off their feet, and when the smoke clears, he's gone, leaving behind only the activated cerebral amplifier and a lingering scent of ozone. Sam immediately prioritizes the device. "Joaquin, cover me," he shouts, pushing past the remaining gamma operatives, who are now more agitated than ever. He dives towards the humming amplifier, intent on disabling it, but just as his fingers brush its casing, a surge of pure energy erupts from it, knocking him back with a violent thwack. He hits the wall, his head ringing, the world spinning. The device, now fully powered, locks on to the satellite network, emitting a faint, almost subliminal hum that immediately starts to permeate the facility. He can feel the subtle pressure building in his mind, a gentle, insistent whisper trying to override his thoughts. It's a truly unsettling sensation, like someone trying to subtly edit your brain. Back in Washington, President Ross doubles down on his ERC initiative, using Stern's escape and the global mind control threat as justification for unprecedented powers. He announces a worldwide quarantine, shutting down international travel and communications, ostensibly to prevent the spread of Stern's influence, but Sam sees it as a move to consolidate power. Ross addresses the world from a secure bunker, his voice grave, his eyes narrowed. "We face an enemy unlike any before," he booms, "one who seeks to steal our very thoughts. We will not let him." Sam, watching from a secure feed, can practically feel the collective sigh of resignation from the global population. This is the definition of a slippery slope, where fear becomes the currency of control. Meanwhile, Sam, Joaquin, and Sabra find themselves in an uneasy alliance, forced together by common purpose and the small problem of being trapped in Latveria by the global quarantine. The ERC agents, after a tense standoff, agree to cooperate, realizing the scope of the threat is beyond their current capabilities. They set up a temporary base in a secluded mountain lodge, its rustic charm a stark contrast to the high-tech chaos they've just endured. The lodge smells of pine and stale coffee. Sabra, initially prickly and suspicious, reveals her own country's interest in Stern's. He had previously tried to destabilize their region with modified gamma weaponry, something the world didn't entirely catch wind of. "Stern's is a plague," she states, her voice clipped, "and he leaves a trail of whispers and ruins wherever he goes." She's not exactly friendly, but her pragmatism makes her an effective, if sometimes abrasive, ally. Her loyalty, however, remains firmly with her own people, making any long-term trust difficult. The team discovers that the cerebral amplifier in Latveria was merely a relay station, one of several positioned globally. Stern's true base of operations is a mobile subterranean laboratory, shifting location constantly, making it incredibly difficult to pinpoint. It's like trying to play whack-a-mole with a supervillain who owns a mole-making machine. They realize Stern's is not just trying to manipulate global leaders, he's targeting key population centers, slowly expanding his mental influence, like a digital virus spreading through the human mind. The subtle hum from the Latverian device is confirmed to be a low-level continuous psychic broadcast, gradually eroding free will. It's not a sudden zap, but a slow, creeping invasion. People are starting to become more compliant, less questioning, their everyday decisions subtly guided by an unseen hand. The news reports, usually buzzing with dissent, become eerily uniform, echoing Ross's rhetoric. It's a truly chilling development, like watching a slow-motion zombie apocalypse, but with everyone still looking perfectly normal, just a bit placid. A frantic message reaches Sam from Dr. Betty Ross, Bruce Banner's old flame and General Ross's daughter. She's been working in a secluded facility monitoring gamma radiation for years, trying to reverse some of the damage caused by past events. She reveals that her father, President Ross, had secretly funded Stern's early research into mental manipulation, hoping to weaponize it for national defense, a truly boneheaded decision even for him. He thought he could control Stern's, use his intellect for good, a classic villain origin story for the hero. Betty had been trying to sabotage Stern's work from within, but she's been found out and is now on the run. "He promised me he could control him," Betty's voice, strained and full of despair, crackles over the secure line. "He thought he could weaponize his brilliance without consequence. He was wrong, Sam, so terribly wrong." She needs immediate extraction, providing coordinates to a remote desert lab. The stakes just went from global mind control to family drama with global mind control. The rescue mission is fraught with peril. Sam and Joaquin fly to the desert location, their wings cutting through the swirling sands. The facility is heavily guarded by Stern's enhanced operatives, who seem to anticipate their arrival, their green-tinged skin glowing ominously in the desert twilight. The air crackles with the thrum of their enhanced muscles, the whoosh of their powerful leaps. The sand kicks up, forming miniature storms around them as the battle rages. Sam uses his shield to deflect powerful blows, the clang of vibranium against enhanced bone echoing through the canyon.
He notices something unsettling. These operatives aren't just strong. They seem to be operating with a terrifying, almost hive-mind coordination, their movements perfectly synchronized, like a deadly green-skinned ballet. It's clear Stearns has refined his mental manipulation techniques far beyond simple persuasion. They find Betty in a hidden bunker, pale and shaken but resolved. She clutches a data drive, its contents potentially holding the key to stopping Stearns. He's not just using the satellites, Betty reveals, her voice urgent as she hands the drive to Sam, her fingers trembling slightly. He's developed a network of neural nodes. People, Sam, people who have been subtly exposed to specific gamma frequencies, making them living amplifiers for his signal. They're everywhere, ordinary citizens, unknowingly spreading his influence. This adds a terrifying layer to Stearns' plan. He's not just controlling people, he's turning them into unwitting extensions of his will, an organic network of mind control. It's like a really creepy distributed computing system, but with human brains.
Upon their return, President Ross confronts Sam, his face a mask of disappointment and thinly veiled anger. He believes Sam's unauthorized actions are undermining the ERC and his efforts to contain Stearns. The conversation takes place in a sterile war room, the hum of monitors and the muted voices of strategists creating a tense backdrop. Ross, his hands clasped behind his back, paces slowly. "Captain," he says, his voice dangerously low, "I put my trust in you. You chose to defy direct orders, to bring my daughter into this mess, and now you expect me to believe your wild theories about neural nodes?" He doesn't believe Betty, or perhaps doesn't want to believe her, because it implicates his own monumental errors. He still sees Stearns as a resource to be contained, not a global threat to be stopped, a dangerous delusion. He's so focused on control and maintaining his image that he's blind to the escalating danger. It's a classic power-hungry politician move, prioritizing ego over existential threat. Sam, however, refuses to back down. He plays Betty's data, revealing Stearns' chilling global network and the insidious nature of the neural nodes. The holographic projections spin, showing cities across the globe lighting up with faint, almost invisible energy signatures emanating from seemingly random individuals. The ERC generals, initially skeptical, watch in stunned silence. The sheer scale and subtlety of Stearns' plan is horrifyingly effective. Ross, faced with irrefutable proof, finally begins to crack, a flicker of fear in his eyes. He sees the monster he helped create, now truly unleashed. The sound of the data whirring on the display is the only sound in the tense room. He authorized this. He funded this. The weight of his colossal mistake visibly settles on his shoulders. With Ross finally on board, the newly unified team, now including the full resources of the ERC, works feverishly to locate Stearns' mobile lab. Betty, a brilliant scientist in her own right, quickly analyzes the data, finding a subtle, fluctuating energy signature unique to Stearns' central cerebral amplifier, the primary broadcast source. He's not staying put, Betty explains, her fingers flying across a touchscreen, but his signal has a unique harmonic tremor. It's like a fingerprint in the noise. Joaquin and Sabra, using their combined aerial and surveillance expertise, narrow down the target to a remote, uncharted island in the Pacific, cloaked by a perpetual storm system that naturally disrupts radar and satellite imagery. It's a perfect villain lair, complete with dramatic weather. Sam, looking at the turbulent cloud cover on the screen, nods grimly. "All right," he says, "time to pay the leader a visit." The journey to the island is treacherous. The storm rages, lightning cracking across the sky, thunder booming like an angry god. The ERC transport jets, specially reinforced, struggle through the turbulent air, buffeted by powerful winds. Inside, Sam, Joaquin, Sabra, and a squad of elite ERC operatives prepare. The atmosphere is tense, the faces grim. Sam, now fully in his Captain America persona, addresses them with calm authority, his voice steady over the roar of the storm.
We're going into the eye of the storm, both literally and figuratively. Stearns wants to control us, to steal our freedom. We won't let him. He looks at each of them, his gaze firm and reassuring. Joaquin chisks his wings, the metallic whir of the servos audible even over the wind. Sabra sharpens a small, wickedly curved blade, her movements fluid and practiced. Betty, despite her fear, remains focused, running diagnostics on a portable signal jammer she's designed to disrupt Stearns' broadcast. The plan is complex. Betty's jammer needs to be deployed directly into Stearns' main amplifier, but it requires precise timing. They have one shot. They breach the storm, the clouds parting briefly to reveal the island below, a jagged, volcanic peak shrouded in mist with a faint, pulsing green glow emanating from its caldera. Stearns' lab is built deep within the dormant volcano, using its natural geothermal energy and seismic activity to power his global broadcast. It's an architectural marvel of villainy, truly. The jets deploy the strike team, dropping them into the turbulent air. Sam, Joaquin, and Sabra soar through the swirling winds, their wings and specialized suits cutting through the tempest. The descent is harrowing, the winds trying to tear them apart. A stray lightning bolt zaps dangerously close to Sam, forcing him into a sudden dive. "Close one, Cap," Joaquin yells over the comms, his voice strained. "Looks like Stearns has home field advantage, weather control and all." The assault on the volcano begins with a bang. Sam lands precisely on an external platform, shield at the ready, immediately engaging a patrol of gamma-infused guards. The thud of his shield against their powerful forms echoes across the platform. Joaquin and Sabra provide aerial support, their attacks precise and deadly, taking out turrets and clearing pathways. The ERC troops, trained and disciplined, secure the perimeter, exchanging precise laser fire with Stearns' more heavily armed enhanced operatives. The volcano itself seems to groan, the ground trembling slightly beneath their feet, adding another layer of danger to the already chaotic scene. The air is thick with the smell of ozone, volcanic dust, and something faintly chemical, a noxious cocktail that probably isn't good for you. Inside the volcanic lair, the team navigates a maze of glowing conduits and massive gamma containment chambers, the very air thrumming with raw, unstable energy. They encounter more sophisticated defenses, laser grids that snap into existence, automated turrets that whir to life, and a new breed of Stearns enhanced operatives, these ones faster, more agile, with a creepy, almost intelligent glint in their eyes. They're like super ninja hulks, which is just unfair. Sam's fighting style adapts, focusing on precision and disruption, his shield finding weak points in their armor and sending them sprawling with well-placed thwacks. Sabra moves with incredible speed, a blur of blue and white, her energy blasts incinerating threats before they can even register. Joaquin provides excellent overwatch, his upgraded talons slicing through cables and disrupting energy flows, creating momentary power outages that the team exploits. "Seriously," Joaquin mutters, after narrowly dodging a laser grid that fizzed inches from his face, "this guy really hates visitors. Did he not get the memo about leaving a mint on the pillow?" They finally reach the central control chamber, a vast circular room at the heart of the volcano. In its center, pulsing with an eerie green light, is Stearns' primary cerebral amplifier, a colossal machine that looks like a gigantic, glowing brain wired into the very rock of the volcano. And there, on a raised platform overlooking his masterpiece, is Samuel Stearns, not wearing his containment helmet anymore. His impossibly large, exposed brain pulsates with an unhealthy green light, and his eyes glow with a chilling intensity. He has achieved a new level of connection with his technology, almost becoming one with his monstrous creation. "Welcome, Captain," Stearns says, his voice now a booming, resonant sound that seems to echo directly within their minds, not just from his mouth. "You've come to witness the birth of a new humanity." The final confrontation is epic, chaotic, and deeply personal. Stearns doesn't fight physically. He unleashes his enhanced operatives, now even stronger and faster, their movements perfectly coordinated by his psychic command. He also employs powerful sonic blasts, generating disorienting waves of sound that thrum through their bodies, making their teeth ache. The air crackles with energy and the shouts of battle. Sam leads the charge, his shield a beacon of defiance, a shining disc cutting through the green-tinged gloom. He's fighting not just for his life, but for the very concept of free will, for every conscious thought in every mind on Earth. He takes powerful blows, the impact resonating through his suit, but he keeps pushing forward, his resolve unwavering. He feels a sharp stab of mental pain, like an ice pick in his brain, but he pushes through it, his mental shield holding firm. He throws his physical shield, not at Stearns directly, but at a critical power conduit behind him, a desperate gambit. The vibranium disc slices through the air with a powerful whoosh and impacts the conduit with a thunderous crack.
The amplifier destabilizes, its green glow flickering erratically. Stearns screams, a raw, guttural sound that cuts through the mental assault. The pressure in everyone's minds immediately lessens. Seeing his window, Sam charges. He tackles Stearns, not with a punch, but with a grapple, trying to restrain him, to prevent him from regaining control. The leader, despite his physical weakness, struggles with surprising ferocity, his mind still trying to dominate. Betty, seizing the moment of disruption, slams the final connection on her jammer. The amplifier sputters, then goes dark. The oppressive mental hum ceases completely. The aftermath is one of stunned silence, then growing relief. Stearns, his powers cut off, slumps, his abnormally large brain now appearing sickly and gray, the light in his eyes extinguished. His army of enhanced operatives collapses, their minds freed, but their bodies exhausted, confused, like puppets whose strings have been cut. Sabra and Joaquin quickly secure Stearns and his remaining lieutenants. The ERC forces sweep through the facility, containing the now bewildered gamma-infused soldiers. The volcano, its power source disrupted, begins to calm, the rumbling subsiding. The air slowly clears. Back in Washington, the global quarantine is lifted, and the world slowly begins to reawaken, shaking off the subtle psychic fog that had begun to settle over it. People blink, confused, wondering why they felt so compliant, so unconcerned. The true extent of Stearns's plan becomes public, shocking the world and exposing President Ross's grievous error in funding Stearns's early research. The political fallout is immense. Ross, his face haggard and lined with fatigue and regret, addresses the nation, taking full responsibility for his misjudgment, a rare moment of humility from the proud general. He acknowledges Sam's warnings and Betty's bravery, his voice heavy with the weight of his office. "My desire for security blinded me," he states, his gaze firm but weary. "I failed the American people. I failed the world." It's a moment of genuine character growth, acknowledging that even leaders can be fallible. Sam, however, doesn't rest on his laurels. He visits Stearns in a maximum security containment facility, a sterile white room with reinforced glass. Stearns, now completely stripped of his mental powers and his technology, is just a man with an impossibly large head, a prisoner of his own ambition. "You failed, Stearns," Sam says, his voice quiet but firm, "because you underestimated humanity's capacity for choice. You can't just take that away." Stearns merely offers a chilling, knowing smile. "Perhaps," he rasps, his voice weak but his eyes still holding a spark of their former menace, "but I showed them how easily it could be taken. A seed has been planted, Captain. They will remember the quiet. They will remember the peace of not having to choose." It's a truly unsettling parting shot, a psychological wound left for the world to ponder. In the final scenes, Sam Wilson fully embraces his role as Captain America, not just as a symbol, but as a moral compass in a complex world.
He knows the shield isn't just about fighting physical threats, it's about navigating political machinations, challenging authority when necessary, and protecting the very ideals of freedom and democracy. He's no longer just the Falcon with a new shield. He is Captain America, forged in the fires of political intrigue and psychic warfare. He stands on a rooftop overlooking a vibrant city, the hum of everyday life a comforting sound. Joaquin, now a fully integrated partner, stands beside him, wings folded. Sabra, having completed her mission, departs, but not with a respectful nod to Sam, a sign of mutual respect earned in the crucible of battle. Betty Ross joins her father, helping him to rebuild trust and advocating for more ethical scientific advancements. Sam looks out at the city, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The world is still messy, still complicated, but with Captain America watching over it, there's always hope. The journey of Sam Wilson in this film truly crystallizes what it means to carry the shield, in an era where the threats are as much psychological as they are physical. It's a testament to the enduring power of human will and the courage to challenge even the highest powers when freedom is at stake. The movie beautifully illustrates that true leadership isn't just about wielding power, but inspiring it in others and safeguarding the fundamental right to choose one's own path. Captain America: Brave New World is a powerhouse of a film, injecting some much-needed political gravitas and psychological depth into the MCU. The performances, particularly from Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford, are stellar, delivering a Cap who truly embodies the struggles of leadership and a Ross who grapples with his own fallibility. It's a thought-provoking watch, leaving you to ponder just how easily our freedoms can be eroded.